Welcome back to this clown's garage. In this video I have a 2011 Camaro, a 5th gen Camaro, and we're changing the axle seals in the back. There's actually a bulletin on this. Sometimes people complain of chatter in the rear, and what they recommend you do is change the fluid to the rear fluid. What they use is friction modifiers in it, and the fluid that you're putting in to solve the issue has it already added in. So as opposed to a factory where they put the actual fluid in there, then they put the modifiers afterwards. So once you do that, you have to put better seals in, which is this part number here, 22798805, and these seals were made to mesh with that fluid in the back, so this won't leak. And whenever you take the axle nut off, this is the axle nut, you have to put a new one on. It's 13217120, GM part number. That's a 32mm socket for that. And you need a torque wrench that goes to 200 foot-pounds. You could rent one from AutoZone for free. So let's begin. And I'm gonna take this nut off, the 7/8 lug nut. I'm gonna go ahead and take those off. Alright, I'm underneath the car now, and as you can see this axle over here? There where it mates into the rear end, it's actually leaking fluid. See where it's wet? So that's how you could tell. Alright, so I have a 32mm socket on a breaker bar. I'm going to take the axle nut off. I'm going to take it off the rest of the way with my impact wrench. That's the old nut. Now, as you can see here, this came off very easily, and this car had work done in the back here, and this was off before, and I think they reused the stock nut, which you're not supposed to. What happens is this goes on at 200 foot-pounds, and when you take it off, it's way more than 200 foot-pounds to take it off, and it distorts this a little bit. So that's why this came off easily, because you can't tighten this down to factory spec anymore. So always change this whenever you take this off. I'm going to take these two control arm bolts off, one here and one here. They're 18mm. This is also 18mm on this side. So use a pin over here to knock this bitch in. This last bolt here for this arm. Just gonna knock on it, tap it out. And it came right out.
Hey. Pass the vessel.
I have somebody on this side holding the axle, and this side I have a pry bar. So I'm just gonna go ahead and slide this thing out. Recording?
Oh, yes. Here we go.
I guess I don't even need to, just pull it from here.
You just pull it out like that.
Yeah, just pull it out.
Don't need to tap it. Sometimes you have to tap it, but in this case you don't have to.
There she goes.
There she is.
Alright, now I'm going to use a steel puller to pull this out. You can also use a flathead and start tapping it out that way. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull this out. And there goes the seal. Alright, so I just cleaned the surface over there a little bit. Now you see this, looks like a little cup. That goes on the inside and the rubber goes on the outside. So I'm just going to pop that in here. Just like that. I have a ball joint cup here which fits exactly on the perimeter, outside perimeter of this seal. So I'm just going to put it on like that and whack it in. You have no space here to swing a hammer, so I'm just going to put it in like that. And just work my way around until it's fully seated. It's almost in. It's got a little bit over here to go in, so I'm using the flat side of a punch and pop it in. Alright, as you can see, the seal is all bottomed out. That's how you want it to look. And it's done. Putting the axle back in. Sometimes with the seal rides in the axle is a little groove and it eats up the axle seal. So just run it across over here, the face of it, with your nail. If you feel any grooves, that means it's time to change the axle because you'll keep on ruining the seals. So I'm going to put it back in now. Alright, now I'm going to put this in. Be very careful you don't tear the new seal. And you might have to turn it so the splines line up inside. Just keep it as straight as possible. And it's in. And make sure the shaft bottoms out on the rear. So you just plug the rear, baby. You're all good. Now on the other side, we have to try to insert the splines into the hub over there. Ready? Alright, now we're going to put it in the splines over there. Alright, it slid right in.
Okay. That's it.
Alright, the first thing you do is you take this and you move the whole rotor up and down so you can pop this bolt in. Just like that. And now we're gonna turn that and tighten it down. Good. Now put the bottom two down in. Alright, now you move this up and down to align the hole. Pop it in.
There he goes.
Got it?
Yeah.
It's done. Alright, so I want to show you here the axle. That's how it is when it's fully seated. If you're not sure how far in it should go, check the other side. how far the other side is in. And if it's not in all the way, you can always tap the end of the axle. Alright, now we're checking the fluid level. The fill hole is over here and the drain is down here. So what you do here is you put a 3/8 extension and you go in here with the ratchet, just pop it in the hole. And unscrew that. Alright, now the car has to be level when you're checking this, so, and it should drain down a little bit. So it's actually draining down a little bit. I don't know if you could see that, but it did drip down. So yeah, I'm just gonna recap this because it's good. And tighten this down. Also, one more thing, once you fill this up with fluid, you gotta do a couple of figure eights just to get the fluid flowing all over the place. And over here, I'm just gonna clean all this up with brake cleaner and rags. Make sure it's nice and clean, so to monitor it if it's gonna leak again. So just go ahead and clean this up. Put the wheel on. Before I put the wheel on, there's a cap in the middle. So you just squeeze these tabs down and push it out. So I popped it out, and that's where you're going to insert the socket to torque down the axle nut. It's a new axle nut, so you just thread that in there. And now put the wheel on with the center cap off. And we're going to go ahead and tighten these down. Alright, set the torque wrench to 200 foot-pounds. Now over here, you have the access hole. So you put an extension with your socket. You just tighten it down until you reach 200 foot-pounds. And you're good. And now, to wrap it all up, you just put the middle piece in, pop it, and you're good. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Also, like me, share me, do what the hell you want to me. See ya.